Hello, lovely human. Today's SMS 7 minute soundbite is about doing what you love and loving what you do. Now, we all know that you got to be a really lucky person to only ever be allowed to do the things you love. Very often we have responsibilities, duties that include things that we don't really care about, we don't really enjoy doing. And it doesn't mean that we just ignore them or we avoid them. And people who do would be deemed to be irresponsible. So, how do we learn how to, A, find ways to do more of what we love, but also learn to just fall a little bit in love with the things that we have no other choice than to do? Just as a little segue, I was watching a podcast interview with Liam Payne, who's the former member, I should say, of One Direction, who, in very tragic circumstances, died a few days ago. And to me, he was one of the One Direction, members. I remember when his band came third in the UK X Factor series. In those days, my children and I were huge fans, and so we would always buy tickets to the post X Factor show where the top 10 contestants would come and perform to a live audience. And I remember that year we had, as per usual, bought the tickets, and One Direction obviously would have been performing at that show. And very sadly for me, I was unwell, so I didn't go to that show, and I gave my ticket away to someone else. And that might have been quite a fun opportunity to watch this young band that went on to break records and arguably are one of the most successful boy bands in the history of music, maybe alongside Beatles. But anyway, I digress. And I was watching a podcast interview that Liam Payne did with Steve, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. That's terrible. The Diary of a CEO podcast host, Steve something or other. His name is, and it's quite a long interview. But I was blown away by the things I learned about this young man that if I hadn't bothered to watch that interview, I would have never known. And it's sort of it's a reminder of how often we only see what either the media portrays to us or what the person wants us to see. And this is true of us as well, of course. I mean, we don't go around showing our fully authentic self to everybody, because that would make us very vulnerable. So we only show people what really we want them to see. And then, of course, especially if you're in the public eye, the media or the public will connect the dots and make up stories that have no real truth behind them. So anyway, so a couple of things that I learned from this really interesting interview and conversation was just how difficult being shot to fame at such a young age can be for someone. And we often only see the glamorous side of being a pop star, and we don't realize that they could be somebody who's traveling the world but never getting a chance to see any of it. So imagine being a pop star, who's got a very busy calendar. Each day they've got, like he says, a day sheet of things to do, and you travel probably in a sort of a private jet. You go to your destination. You get bundled up into a car with security guards. You go to your hotel. Get ready for your show or whatever. Do your show, and then you're back in your hotel, and rinse and repeat this same cycle. And what an artificial, cocooned, and not a particularly healthy way to grow up that might have been for someone like Liam Payne. And it's only when he's much older and he's left the band that he gets a chance to really explore who he is and sort of try and find out his creative side without putting pressure on himself. And there's one thing he says in there which I really like, and I want to connect it back to, the things we love and how to learn to love the things we do, is that he said during lockdown in particular, he decided that he was going to do things that would not make him any money. So get creative, but without the intention of it being a source of income. And this is huge because a number of my clients would really like to inject more creativity or revisit the creativity that they once enjoyed, the things they actually love doing. They would love to do that in their work. And they bemoan the fact that they can't, and they often think, should I just throw away this corporate career and just do this thing that I actually love? And I often remind them that, the reason you love this thing is because there's no burden attached to you making it something that's going to take care of you financially. However, I think it is interesting that even when we do the things that we're needing to be doing, responsibilities, if we do them with the right spirit and the right intention and the right energies, it is amazing how you may find that you actually enjoy them more than you ever thought was possible. It could be mundane jobs such as, paperwork, admin. I mean, who loves doing paperwork? I suppose some people do. But if you go into it with the right spirit and you look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, you may find that you actually love it more than you think. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye.